There is a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from the absence of others, but from the absence of the one who once meant the world to you. Eleanor Wilson, 62 years old, once believed she would grow old surrounded by her most beautiful memories, in a house filled with echoes of past laughter and the gentle scent of chamomile tea each morning. But after a sudden health scare in the dead of winter, she realized there was something even more frightening than death. It was dying in silence, unnoticed, with no one by your side. So she opened her heart once more, and then she fell in love. A gentle man with kind eyes and a voice as warm as a March breeze. It felt like destiny had finally smiled on her after years of loss. But dear friends, some lessons in love come late and cut deeper than we expect. Eleanor's story is a quiet but powerful reminder for anyone entering their twilight years with a heart still open to love. It will make you pause and wonder, is love in old age truly a blessing, or can it be a cruel test? And if you've ever felt the sting of loneliness or placed your trust in someone only to be quietly wounded, stay with us until the end. Because this story isn't just about love, it's about self-respect, about choice, and about how one woman stood back up after her heart was betrayed. If this story speaks to you, leave a comment with the number 1. Let us know that you're still here, still choosing to love yourself. Don't forget to like this video, share it with older loved ones, and subscribe to Elderly Advice so you never miss more heartfelt stories like this, because growing older can be the most beautiful chapter of your life. If you choose the right path. Eleanor Wilson stood in her kitchen, the scent of chamomile tea rising from a steaming kettle. For 5 years since her husband, the man who'd held her hand through nearly 4 decades, passed away, her Chicago home had become a museum of memories. The walls, once alive with the giggles of their 3 children, now carried only the sound of her solitary footsteps. Each evening, as the sun painted the sky in hues of amber, she'd sit by the window, her heart straining for the familiar call, "Ellie, darling, dinner's ready." But only the rustle of leaves answered, carried by a lonely breeze. Loneliness wasn't just an emptiness, it was a weight pressing against her chest. She tried to outrun it. She joined book clubs where she discussed novels over cups of Earl Grey. She attended community picnics, laughing under the summer sun. She even swayed to old jazz tunes at a senior's dance class, her smile masking the ache within. But when she returned to her silent house each night, the solitude waited, wrapping her in its cold embrace. Her 3 children, now grown with families of their own, called, often their voices warm with love. "Mom, how's your day?" they'd ask and shed, paint a picture of contentment, not wanting to burden them with her longing. A mother's heart, she believed, should lift her children up, not tether them to her sorrow. Yet as she hung up the phone, the quiet returned sharper than ever. One winter evening, as she poured tea, the world spun. The kettle slipped from her hands, shattering on the floor. She collapsed, her heart pounding like a frightened bird. When she awoke sprawled on the cold tiles, a new fear gripped her, not of death, but of dying alone, unnoticed, her final breath, unheard, in the hospital bed that night. Surrounded by sterile walls, Eleanor made a quiet vow she didn't want to face her final years without someone by her side. As an old saying goes, better one true companion in the storm than 100 friends in the sunlight. Her children pleaded with her to move in with them, their eyes filled with worry, but Eleanor couldn't leave the home she and her husband had built, brick by brick with love and dreams. It was more than a house, it was the keeper of their story, the cradle of their family's laughter. I'd rather die here surrounded by memories than live as a stranger elsewhere. She told them, her voice steady but her heart trembling. Then, like a melody from a forgotten time, he appeared. At a gathering for single seniors, Eleanor met George, a 68-year-old widower with soulful brown eyes and a smile that warmed her weary heart. His voice, low and comforting, felt like a hearth on a winter's night. He texted her each morning asking if she'd slept well. He called to hear about her day, his laughter easing the weight of her solitude. They strolled through parks. Her stories of her late husband met with his quiet respect, as if he understood the sacredness of her past. For the first time in years, Eleanor felt her heart stir. Love, she thought, could bloom again, soft and gentle, like a rose in autumn. When George proposed, tears fell, not just from joy, but from the miracle of being seen, wanted at 62. Her children, though cautious, gave their blessing, relieved that their mother wouldn't face old age alone. They married in her garden under a canopy of blooming lilies. In her simple ivory dress, Eleanor felt alive, her heart no longer a relic of grief. Friends raised glasses toasting to new beginnings, and for a moment the world felt whole again. But dear friends, happiness woven in haste often frays at the edges. The first 2 months were a tender blur. Eleanor cooked hearty dinners, humming as George read his newspaper. She folded his clothes, sorted his medications, cared for him with the devotion she'd once given her. First love. But slowly the balance tipped. George never offered to help. Not with the dishes, not with the groceries, not with the bills that piled up like autumn leaves. The electricity, the heating, the prescriptions all drew from Eleanor's savings, the nest egg shed guarded for her future. Then came the hints, subtle at first, like whispers in the wind. "My son's car is falling apart," George would say, his eyes drifting. A new one would make his life easier, he called her. Fortunate a woman, with a comfortable pension, suggesting she lend a hand. The words cut deep. Her first husband had built a life where love, not money, was their foundation. Now the man she'd vowed to cherish saw her as a resource, not a partner. The final blow came one crisp afternoon as sunlight spilled across their living room. George sat across from her, swirling a glass of wine, his voice calm but calculated. "Ellie, this house is too big for us. Why not sell it? We could buy a small apartment, and the rest could help my son start his business." "It'd be simpler. Don't you think?" Eleanor's breath caught. This house wasn't just a building. It was the echo of her husband's laughter, the warmth of her children's, bedtime stories, the sanctuary of a life well lived, selling it to fund a stranger's dream. It was unthinkable. In that moment, truth pierced her like a winter wind. George didn't love her. He loved what she could provide. That night alone in her bedroom, Eleanor wept, not for a lost love, but for her own trusting heart. She'd believed that love could fill the void, that kindness could shield her from betrayal. She was wrong. As an old proverb warns, marry in haste, repent at leisure. The next morning, Eleanor faced George, her voice steady, despite the storm within. "I won't sell my home. I won't fund anyone but my own children. If you're here for what I have, not who I am, then we're done." He sat in silence, his eyes distant, then nodded. No arguments, no apologies, just the quiet end of a mistaken bond. 2 months later, they divorced, parting as strangers who'd briefly shared a dream. Eleanor returned to her home, her heart bruised but unbroken. Each morning she brewed tea and listened to the birds outside her window. In the afternoons, she tended her garden, coaxing life from the earth. At night, she called her children, their voices weaving warmth across the miles. Loneliness still lingered, but it no longer frightened her. She'd learned a truth deeper than love. Her own strength was enough. Eleanor's story is a mirror for us all, reflecting the hidden perils of late-life love. As we age, our hearts remain tender, our hopes as vibrant as ever. But we must tread carefully, for the choices we make now shape the legacy we leave behind. Here are the lessons Eleanor's journey offers, woven into the fabric of her story. 1. Guard your finances like a treasure. Money isn't just currency, it's your freedom, your dignity, your safety in old age. Eleanor learned this when George saw her savings as his own. Before you share your life, talk openly about money. Who pays for what? Are assets separate or shared? Consider a prenuptial agreement to protect your wealth. If someone avoids these questions or calls you calculating, take heed. Protecting your finances isn't greed, it's self-love. 2. Protect your legacy, your children, your family. They're the heart of your story. A new spouse can shift the inheritance you've planned, as laws in many countries grant legal partners a claim to your estate. Eleanor's house, her life's work nearly slipped away. Update your will. Consider a trust and name beneficiaries for your accounts. Ensure your wishes endure, so your children aren't left fighting for what's theirs. 3. Honor your family. Your children's love is a lifeline. 1. Eleanor clung to even in her darkest moments. A new partner can strain those bonds, especially if your family senses ulterior motives. Listen to their concerns. They're not jealous, they're protective. Share your hopes for love, but reaffirm their place in your heart. Give them time to trust your choice, for family is the anchor that holds you steady. 4. Plan for your care. Don't assume a new love will care for you in sickness or frailty. Eleanor imagined George as her partner through life's end, but his actions spoke otherwise. Plan your healthcare and finances independently. Sign a healthcare directive to ensure your wishes are honored. Test your partner's heart. Do they love you or what you provide? True love stays when you're at your weakest. Fleeting love fades when you have nothing left to give. 5. Embrace solitude. Over toxic company and society whispers that being alone is a failure, but Eleanor found a deeper truth. A bad marriage is a prison, far lonelier than solitude. Don't rush to fill the void with someone who doesn't see your worth. Join clubs. Volunteer, read, garden. Fill your days with purpose. Loneliness is a visitor that passes. Self-betrayal is a wound that lingers. Eleanor's story doesn't end in sorrow. It blooms anew like a garden after winter. Inspired by her courage and the wisdom of others, like 95-year-old Dorothy, who radiates joy in her Boston cottage. Here are 6 keys to living fully in your golden years, woven into the thread of Eleanor's rediscovery. 1. Cherish your health as a gift. Eleanor walks her garden paths each morning, her body strong from gentle exercise and care. Your health is the foundation of your joy. Eat well, move daily, rest deeply. A walk in the park, a yoga class, a hearty meal shared with friends. These are the threads that weave a vibrant life. 2. Find joy in the smallest moments. Happiness isn't in grand gestures, it's in the quiet beauty of everyday life. Eleanor smiles as she sips her tea, listens to a favorite song, or reads a novel by the fire. Keep a journal of these moments. A sunset, a kind word, a blooming flower, each is a drop of honey sweetening your days. 3. Weave connections with love. Loneliness thrives in isolation, but connection heals. Eleanor calls her children, visits neighbors, joins a local art class, reach out to family, rekindle old friendships, or make new ones. A shared laugh, a warm hug, a simple "how are you?" These are the sparks that light your soul. 4. Keep growing always. Eleanor learned to use a smartphone, delighting in video calls with her grandchildren. A curious mind stays young. Try a new hobby, painting, gardening, or even a language. Explore history. Master a recipe or watch a tutorial online. Each lesson is a brushstroke, painting your life with color. 5. Let go of old burdens. Eleanor released her regrets, forgiving herself for trusting too soon. Let go of grudges, sorrows, and what-ifs. Write a letter to someone you need to forgive, then let it go. Your heart deserves peace, light as a cloud, free to soar. 6. Love yourself fiercely. Eleanor looks in the mirror each morning saying, "I am enough." You are your own greatest companion. Treat yourself to small joys, a new scarf, a favorite dessert, a kind word, dress with pride. Speak to yourself with compassion. When you love yourself, the world mirrors that love back to you. Dear friends, Eleanor's story is a gift, a reminder that your golden years are yours to shape. Don't trade them for a fleeting escape from loneliness. Don't fear solitude, for it's a canvas for self-discovery. You are not defined by who stands beside you, but by the light you carry within. As Dorothy, the 95-year-old sage, shared over a cup of coffee, "I can live without a partner, but never without joy and self-respect. Wake each morning and say, 'Today I choose me.' Live boldly, love deeply, and let your golden years shine like the autumn sun." Thank you for joining me at Elderly Advice. I'm your friend here to share stories and listen to yours. Until we meet again, keep your heart open and your spirit bright.